Black woman. Beautiful, powerful, resilient female of African descent with skin kissed by the sun. Conversation. A talk, especially an informal one between two or more people in which news and ideas are exchanged. We love being Black women. Black women are ambitious. Black women are confident. Black women are diligent. We are tenacious. We walk out of our houses put together. We are many shades and personalities of fabulous. But we as Black women don't talk about our dilemmas, current events, and what's going on every day that affects us. So we created this podcast as a way to laugh together, cry together, and have an open conversation about life as Black women.
Oh, that's deep. Black Women Conversations.
Hey, Nicole.
Hey, Janine.
How's your week been?
It's been okay. This week has been good. I am fully recovered from the second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. I have absolutely no symptoms at all, except for that one day that we talked about last week. That was it. So for real, no symptoms after about 24 hours is what I have experienced. And most of my friends say the same. In terms of the rest of the week, it's just been filled with sort of kind of like boring meetings. I feel like this is the time of year that everybody wants to meet in the first 2 weeks of the year to, I guess, start planning the year. So everybody and their mama has reached out to me for a meeting in the last week. I don't like it. I do not like to meet virtually. It is official. I don't like virtual meetings. I don't like them.
Well, unfortunately, until the vaccine is widely distributed, I think that everything is still going to be virtual. So maybe for another, let's let you predict, because you did predict that we would still be doing this in 2021. So let's let you predict. How long do you think it'll be before we can actually safely go outside?
July, which is a quicker prediction than I thought. It depends on how many people actually get the vaccine, right? Mm-hmm. So if people get the vaccine in large numbers, then the numbers will go down. If Biden gets in office and his administration says, hey, until we get the majority of people vaccinated, we're going to shut the places down, then yeah, we will be able to come back out by July or so. July, August is what I'm predicting. I'm hoping sooner. I mean, if we get something sooner, that would be amazing, because, you know, Harrison's birthday is his birthday party is tentatively planned for the last weekend of May, June 3rd. So,
right. But this is his 2 years cumulative birthday, right?
Yeah, it is.
We didn't have a birthday last year.
Correct. And we're supposed to have this big powwow, because everybody has a big birthday for the first birthday. It's not for him. It's for us. Oh my God, yay. You're the best mom in the world because your kid lived to age 1. And that's a big feat. It really is a big feat. Most people don't realize that 14% of African-American boys don't make it to age 1.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's nuts. Especially in the United States. Who would have ever thought that? But
well,
yes.
You got sudden infant death syndrome, and you got prematurity and all those other things that play into factors. But if you talk about hey, African-American girls do the best in terms of, outcomes of newborns. And then African-American boys, it's sort of a shame that they have a higher neonatal mortality rate by age 1. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. But you know what I just thought of? We come out the womb fighting.
We do.
We come out the womb fighting. No matter what, we're just going to make the best of whatever situation it is that we have. That's how it happens.
So true. That is so true. But that's why the first birthday is not for the kid. I mean, they're not going to remember it, but it is for the parents. It's as you can hear
Speaking of Harrison.
But it's hey, you made it. You're the best. Here's your reward of having mimosas and whatever drinks you want at a 1-year-old birthday party. So,
I agree.
Yes, we're going to celebrate at age 2 because we didn't get to celebrate at age 1.
I am here for it. I'm here for the adult Harrison birthday party.
Don't worry. You will get your invite. You'll get a save the date and an invite. We're just trying to figure out when to send them out because we don't know what's happening, right?
Yes.
And if we don't have a second birthday party, I'm just going to add, I told James, I'm like, yeah, the budget we had for age 1, I basically just doubled it for age 2 because I feel like we should get more reward.
Man.
I'm not sure if we should triple it for age 3 if he doesn't get a party in the first 2 years of life. He'll remember age 3, right?
I do remember my 3rd birthday. It was in my backyard and my parents got me a pony, not to keep, but for the party. And
yeah, that was
remember
amazing.
that. And Ronald McDonald, who was an actual character back then, was at my birthday party. Maybe I'll find pictures.
You gotta be kidding me.
No.
You should find pictures.
Maybe I'll
That's
find
amazing.
pictures. It was like a thing. But that's the first birthday that I remember. And then I remember being really excited when I turned 5 that I get to go to Bennigan's, which is like a restaurant that I'm not even sure exists anymore. But for whatever reason, I was like obsessed with Bennigan's. So I was like, oh, when I get 5, I get to go to Bennigan's like an adult, like I get to go out to eat. That's so random. But yeah, I remember. So yeah, but I'm still not here for you like tripling the budget for a 3-year-old party. Nicole, let me say this. Harrison's not getting married at 3. So we should just stick with the same budget. It's the same party. Just add a few more dollars just so that you can have more guests, but not like double and tripling the budget. That's a lot, Nicole.
Well, I maybe not triple it. Well, first of all, you don't know how much the budget was in the beginning. It could have been like $100 budget.
I do.
Now it's like $300.
The listeners do not, but I am very well aware.
The listeners do not, and they shall not know the budget. I do not want to be judged.
Please understand that I am judging right now. I'm judging in love, but I'm still judging. Don't do that. Just keep the budget where it is. And okay, how about this? Let's make a deal. You and I have not had a photo shoot for, oh, that's deep, Black Women Conversations, right? So when Harrison's birthday party comes, we're going to get all dolled up and we're going to go somewhere and do a photo shoot. How's that?
I like it. I like that idea. That has nothing to do with his budget, but I do like that idea.
I'm just trying to get you to stop focusing on the budget. There's something else that you can do to like give yourself a pat on the back for keeping your child alive. Because it's really still for you.
What have you been up to this week, Janine?
I see that you're not into my suggestion about your budget. Okay, what did I do this week? This week has actually been really rough. You know, I just realized that in the first week of January, let's just say January as a whole, it's really like dark, right? Like, I don't know why. I always feel like we make these like, oh, this is going to happen and we look forward to it because it's a new year and new beginning and all of that, right? But it's just really dark. Like, I feel like a lot of people pass away during this time and I've, unfortunately lost a few friends. And I actually know that some of our listeners have lost people based on, what I've seen on our timeline. So it's actually kind of like sad and depressing. I don't want to make this like in memoriam, but I would like to send prayers to one of our faithful podcast listeners, Lisa in Philadelphia. She had a loss in her family, so I would like to send prayers to her. Yeah. So for all of those who have lost someone, we're sending prayers to you. We are sending prayers and thoughts and love your way and comfort and peace.
Definitely prayers to Lisa. Definitely prayers for Lisa and her family and for everybody else that has lost someone recently. We are here for you and with you. And we thank you for listening to the podcast and allowing us to be a part of your world.
So this week has also been kind of interesting, right? Our president, and I was going to say something that wasn't so nice, so I'm just going to say our current president has managed to get himself impeached for the second time. I think, Nicole, if I'm not mistaken, that this is the first time in United States history that a president has been impeached twice. Is that correct?
I think I might be numb to it though, right? When you said that just now, I'm like, oh yeah, I was watching that this week.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he did get impeached. But I just feel like it's
so
sort
much.
of like they went to the motion and it's like, he got impeached for a second time. So what? Now, don't they have to vote to decide if he will be allowed to run for 2024?
Correct. So
that's what I'm waiting on.
Seriously.
I mean, the impeachment in the last wee hours, don't really mean too much to me. He's not going to leave. They're not going to kick him out of the White House. They're going to just, roll on and let the 20th happen. And then there'll be transition. But the icing on the cake will be, hey, if we don't have to see him again in elected public office, it'll be all worth it.
I agree. How did we even get to the point of putting this crazy man in the most powerful position in the world? How did we do this? Like, America, we need to do better. Just let's have better sense, okay? But we are anticipating the inauguration.
We are, and I'm going to be in pink, green, pearls. I might even wear a gown in my own living room. I'm so excited about this inauguration. It's going to be amazing. People don't understand how historic this is. We are going to have a Black woman as second in command. That's amazing. That's amazing in itself.
I agree.
Everybody should wear pearls. And everybody should wear a pink gown, even if you're not a soror of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, which is the best sorority in the land. You should still support, and you should wear a gown, and you should wear pink, and you should wear pearls for Kamala.
I will wear a gown. Matter of fact, we'll get dressed up and take pictures of ourselves in our gowns. Are you going to do it?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, so I'll wear a gown. I'll wear a black gown though, Nicole, because I'm not going out to buy a new gown to sit in my house. But I will wear a black gown because all of my
At least put on pearls.
I'll put on pearls. I have pearls. I have a few strands of pearls. So I'll put on my good pearls and my black gown, and we will celebrate the inauguration. Like, what time do we put the gowns on though? Like, what time is that?
I don't know. Let's see. We'll have to figure out. Maybe we should pregame. Take the pictures, have a little pre-talk, and then watch the inauguration, get our husbands to dance with us in the living room, and yeah, then we have some wine.
I can't wait. But speaking of dancing, okay, dancing in the living room, Nicole, we did not talk about Bridgerton last week. And I feel like we should have brought Eliza back on just to talk about Bridgerton. But I finished it. I finished it last week, which is why I said we didn't talk about it last week. But Nicole, I just want episode or season 2 to come out like yesterday.
Yeah. The Duke?
Amazing. First of all, it literally, and I guess this isn't a spoiler alert, but it literally kept you on your toes till the end. And it wasn't like suspense. It wasn't that. It was like you kind of thought you knew what was going to happen, and then there's like a twist. But you know, Shonda Rhimes is great for that. So
she's good with that.
I was thinking the entire time, and I guess this is where I should say spoiler alert. I was thinking the entire time that like the Duke had some like, you know, internal turmoil and struggle that he wasn't going to be able to overcome. And then I'm like, you know, I've set my mind like he's going to be the douchebag Duke, right? This in my mind, I'm like, he's cute, he's handsome, but like he just, you know, that person that just can't get it together, right? Like their emotions, whatever. And literally I was like, I mean, it was just so good, Nicole. I don't even know. And then the characters all take a twist, right? Like everything takes a twist. It's just, oh, it's so perfect. It's so perfect. I just can't wait for season 2. I'm excited.
What is in Shonda Rhimes' brain when she's giving us these masterpieces? It's like everything she touches is gold. It's good. If you're listening, let us know what you think about Bridgerton. Let us know if you watched it and what you think about it. And don't spoil it in the comments, but let us know what you think about it.
It's my faves. Really, like, and the crazy part is, Nicole, I don't like I told you, I was like, I'm not really a new show watcher, right? So that's the second show that you've convinced me to watch. I will give you a reprieve for that one weird monster period piece that you had me watch. What was that show called? Where the monsters...
Lovecraft?
Yeah, I will give you a pass on that one because that show was too much. But you gave me Greenleaf and you've given me Bridgerton. So Bridgerton makes up for the Lovecraft show that you tried to get me to watch.
But Lovecraft is sort of weird in the middle and then gets better.
Nope. Monsters jumping out. I'm done. Sorry.
So, Janine, what's on your timeline this week?
So this week, I've seen a lot of people and heard of a lot of people taking major pay cuts. And, you know, unfortunately, some are still losing their jobs. I mean, we are almost a year into this pandemic, and it seems like the economy is getting worse. And while our soon-to-be president, when this episode airs, President Joe Biden has unveiled his $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan, you know, people are getting really nervous and anxious, as they should, because, you know, we out here still struggling. It's not like we snapped our fingers and President Biden takes over and we're not struggling. You know, people are still struggling. Like, even if you're still working, you know, and you're not risking eviction, everyone is feeling some kind of strain. And unfortunately, it appears that it's inevitable. Like, the longer this goes on, it seems that no matter what your socioeconomic status is, it's inevitable that you are feeling this strain from this pandemic. So it's not surprising that the Powerball is at $640 million, and the Mega Millions is expected to be at over $800 million. And it's also no wonder that the most Googled terms this past week were Powerball and Mega Millions. So this past week, there were no winners for the Powerball. There were 7 tickets that were sold with all 5 of the white balls correct. The only thing that was missing was the Powerball. One of those winners, the ticket was worth $2 million, but the other winners were only worth $1 million because they didn't purchase the power play. The last time the Powerball was actually hit was back in August. I believe it was on August 12th. And that jackpot was only $169 million. Listen at me. I'm saying only $169 million. But the reason why I say only is because now it's over $640 million. And then actually, the Powerball, the last Powerball drawing was last night. So I woke up this morning and I was like, let me check to see if there was a winner. And it's already been verified because, you know, everything is done electronically. It's already been verified that there is no Powerball winner. So that Powerball is expected to rise even more. Similarly, the Mega Millions is at the second largest pot in history. And the last week, last week's drawing, 8 people each won $1 million. And had they purchased the Megaplier, the prize would have been worth $4 million. Again, 1 million, 4 million. Let me tell you, in this pandemic, anyone would want that. Hopefully, by the time this episode airs, we will both have a Mega Millions winner and a Powerball winner. But let me think about this, right? So when I was Googling this for this episode, I was like, every time that I Googled it, all of these stories popped up. And it also made me think of this TV show called The Lottery Changed My Life, where they tell those, like, do you remember that TV show, Nicole, where they tell those like horror stories of the lottery? And I remember the story. I believe that the lady's name was Sharon, if I'm not mistaken. And they talk about this lady. She appeared to be African-American. They talked about this lady and they talk about how she grew up with these humble beginnings and she was the mother of 6. And, you know, they basically describe how she struggled, right? And then she won $10 million. And then, like 10 years after she won the $10 million, this was in the early 2000s. So 10 years after she won the $10 million, they catch up with her again. And she literally was like riding the bus to work and living in like a rental property again after winning $10 million. Like $10 million lasted her about a decade, right? And then, Nicole, do you remember Marie Holmes, the lady that was from North Carolina, where she won one of the biggest, I think it was her and like 2 other winners. She had to split the pot. She won one of the biggest Powerball drawings ever. And she ended up on Yanla Fix My Life because do you remember her?
I think she was the one that was like bailing her boyfriend out of jail and stuff. And I was like, girl, move on. Like, what are you doing?
So she bailed him out of jail for like $10 million, right? Like, I get it. She won like $180 some million. Like, I think it was like $188 million. So she won like $188 million and spent $10 million of that on bailing this man out of jail. Like, what are you out here doing, ma'am? So here's the thing. Let's be honest. When you get this money, it's not like you get, I mean, some people do get a lump sum, but whatever the money is, so if it's $188 million, you're not getting a $188 million check. That's not how this works, right?
Nope. You got to pay taxes.
Taxes. Thank you. So there are taxes. So once you actually receive the money, it's much less than what you initially thought it would be, right? So in my mind, I always this is not any way official, but in my mind, I always just think that whatever it is that the pot is, imagine that you're going to actually receive half, right? Because you're going to have to pay someone to take care of the money. You're going to have to pay taxes. Like, there's a lot of legal mumbo jumbo and things that you will have to take care of. So the fact that she spent $10 million in basically cash on bailing this man out, like, ma'am, what are you doing? So it seems, go ahead.
And then did you see the man? I'm just saying, like,
Nicole,
sis, if you're going to become a millionaire, you're going to have to change your mindset. We all need to change our mindset. And my pastor used to always say, how are you going to expect God to bless you with $1,000 more when you can't handle $100 sitting in your bank account, or bless you with $1 million when you can't handle $100,000? Like, you have to be able to manage your money and manage your debt and not live above your means. And when you get stumble upon, because that's what it is. A lottery is just like you just stumble upon some cash. You have to pause, pay your debt off, and like not live above your means for a minute. Like just let the money sit there for a minute, right? Let it sit there for a year, because you don't really know what legal mumbo jumbo is going to come at you. You're going to have to pay half of it back to the government in taxes. And then the other half, just let it sit there. Like, don't really tell anybody you have it. Although now they have to publish who won in the papers, which sort of kind of sucks to me and makes people come out to get you. But either way, you don't have to like constantly announce, hey, I've gotten this, I have this much money, because then people are going to be asking you to borrow money. And people don't pay money back when they don't pay it back. If people are asking you to borrow big lump sums, they're not going to really pay you back like you think that they're going to pay you back. Some may, most are not. So that means you're just going to be out of money that you then have to go back and pay taxes on. So let that money sit there for a second. And don't spend your money on people that are not invested in you. This man's in jail. How's he invested in you? He can't invest in you. He probably can't even get his life together. And on the Outlook Fix My Life, he was a mess. She looked a mess because he looked a mess. Just saying.
That's true. And it just looked like it was a mess all the way around. I mean, even the premise on how she won the money. Remember, Nicole, it was like her mom told her it was random, but really her mom hand selected the numbers. It was almost like her winnings were doomed from the beginning. It's sad. But, like Biggie said, more money, more problems. But right. I'd like to think that I would know, like, I don't want to say I would know, but I'd like to think that I would have some good sense and not be a complete lunatic and not blow through my money and go flat broke within like 10 years. I would like to think that, right? But again, no one's handing me 168 or 188 or $600 million, right? But I would really like to think that I would not go broke, that I would invest wisely and do things that I would do now, right? Like, what do you think that you would do, Nicole, if you won the lottery?
The first thing I would do is pay off my student loans, right? And anybody that knows me knows that would be the first thing I would do. I pay off my student loans. And then the second thing I would probably do is, I would say I would pay off my house, but I would probably sell my house and then buy another house. And not saying I would buy like a grand house, because I am all about like taxes and all that stuff. So the bigger the house you have, the more taxes you have to pay every year, right? But I would make sure that I built something that was just for me and that I liked, and it was the way I wanted it and on the land that I wanted. And I would be comfortable living there forever. And I don't need a ginormous house. I don't even need a house bigger than the one I have now, but I would want something like really nice, and I would pay that off. And then I would buy some stuff for like my mom and have a certain fund set aside for my family, certain funds set aside for Harrison. And that's it. I would let the rest of it sit there. I would probably still work, but I would probably work half-time, or I would start my own practice. That is literally what I would do, but I would still work in some form or fashion. What would you do?
So I would like to be a very good little Christian, and I'm going to pay my tithes first. That's what I'm going to do first.
Good. That is a good thing. I would pay my tithes after my student loans. Jesus knows I can't be productive unless some student loans are paid off. I'm just saying.
Oh my goodness. But I would pay my tithes to multiple institutions because, a large lump sum of money for a small business could literally take them under in taxes, right? So I would diversify my tithes paying, if that makes sense, and pay it to a few ministries because, the Lord is still getting the money one way or the other.
That's true. Now, the question is, do you pay your tithes off of your gross or your net income? Ooh.
No, you pay off of gross. You're supposed to, supposedly.
So that means you're paying a lot more.
Of taxes, correct. That means you're paying before Uncle Sam gets his money. You're paying that money. So you're paying tithes before taxes. Yes, that is correct.
Tithes over taxes. Okay.
Tithes before taxes.
Good old Christian girl.
Thank you to the Church of God in Christ for raising me. So let me go back. So I would pay my tithes. And then after I pay my tithes, the second thing that I would do is exactly what you said, Nicole. I want this student loan monkey off my back. I would pay off my student loans because it's like this student loan monkey is worse than Uncle Sam.
And now they're going to start adding, your interest comes back. And I'm hoping Biden comes in, has a good Secretary of Education and all that good jazz. And they say, you know what? While we're giving out this $2,000 stimulus check to all these households, let's just go ahead and keep the interest rate 0%. That's all I'm asking. Just get rid of the interest rate. That's it.
I don't even need you to, no, I want more than that. I want you to get rid of the interest rate and the loan. Just forgive it. At this point, here's what I think. If you can't, I feel like you should be able to get a refund. If you can't pay your student loan back within 10 years, it should be forgiven. And the reason why I say that is because somewhere the system failed you, because you should be making enough money within 10 years to start paying back your student loan. And if you cannot pay it all back in 10 years, then they should be like, you know what? The system failed. Forgiveness. That's what I think. I know that that's not economically sound, but in my mind, that makes perfect sense.
And the student loan forgiveness programs are a beast, though. Like, I had to get off of that because you had to turn in all these forms every year. And if your employer forgets to sign one line, then they kick it back to you. And then it takes 2 more weeks for it to update in the system. And by that time, you've made another payment, but that payment doesn't count towards your student loan forgiveness period. So then you look up and you have 3 months of payment that don't count towards your 120 payments. Of course, I'm on a soapbox because this has happened to me, and now I'm on standard repayment because of that.
Yeah, that's what, see, the student loan monkey, I'm trying to tell you. So after I pay Jesus, I'm going to pay the monkey of student loans off of my back. And then after that, I think that everybody in my family, and by my family, I mean my immediate family, everybody's getting a new house on a large plot of land so I can keep an eye on everybody. Okay? That's what I want. I want to be able to keep an eye. I want everybody to have their own house in the compound so I can keep an eye on everyone. So everybody's nice and close. And then, Nicole, we're going to discuss where this practice is that you're starting so that we can be closer. Hopefully it's not in Texas, so that you can build your compound somewhere close by so that we can, communicate back and forth. I think that we should figure out where we want to live and then build giant compounds on that land. And then the Plenty family lives over here and the Johnson family lives over here. Kind of like Bridgerton. What you think?
That would be dope. Yeah, we'll have to decide on a mutual location because, you in the DC area, I like DC, but it's expensive up there. Nobody want to spend that kind of money to live in DC.
You're right.
Just pricey for no reason.
I agree. And I was born and raised here, but I agree 100%. So when we get our compounds, y'all just remember that we didn't blow through our money that we won from the lottery.
Right. And if anybody listening wants to pay some of these student loans, just let us know about it. You can email us that too. Be a blessing.
Please bless us, because we would just be forever grateful if somebody just paid off our student loans. Okay, Nicole. So we have some doozies today. You want to go first or you want me to go first?
Yes, let's talk through it. I'll go first. So our reader or our listener writes, Janine and Nicole, I have 4 coworkers who I'm really good friends with. We work as medical assistants in a nursing home. So we've had a hectic time during this year's pandemic. Since the beginning of the year, so the last few weeks, my coworkers and I have been pooling our money to buy lottery tickets because if we win, we will all quit working in what we call the Petri dish, which, I can understand that because that's a nursing home. She said we each put in $20 a week toward the lottery. However, I'm not sure that my coworkers can all be trusted to share. I just found out that one of them in particular took money from our pot for gas. She replaced it. But it didn't sit well with me because she's the one who buys the tickets. We've all agreed to split the winnings equally if we ever win. We mostly do this for fun so we can get together every week as single women and chat and drink. We know we'll likely never win, but should I be doing anything to protect myself so I'm not cheated just in case we actually do win?
Yikes. Wow. So my first response would be, yeah, I don't know about this coworker ticket buying situation. While it sounds great, how well do you trust your coworkers, right? Like, I know that there are a few of my coworkers that I trust, and I would be like, okay, I know that if, we went in on these lottery tickets, that they would be honest. But you don't really know. And, we're all in hard times, right? So hard times make people do some things that they might not normally do, right? So I don't know if we should keep buying these group tickets. Maybe you buy your own tickets and you just go socialize and drink with your coworkers, maybe? Because it's like, you're going to see them because you work together, right? So I guess they're your little tribe. But if she's borrowing the money for gas money, then it sounds like she might already be in some sort of financial situation and she might already be having a hard time. Maybe you suggest that you rotate who buys the tickets so that it's a little bit more even. But I don't know. I personally would stop doing the group tickets. I would just say, hey guys, why doesn't everyone buy their own tickets and we just come and chat and have some cocktails every now and then, rather than making it a group effort? Because that sounds like it might be a slippery slope to you not getting along with your coworkers, to be very honest. What do you think, Nicole?
Well, I do think it's good that she has 4 other single coworkers that all work together. So you're sharing your environment with these people. So, you work with them. So these are the people that you can trust, because if they have COVID, then you probably have COVID too. I'm just saying.
Right, that's true.
So I understand why you decided to get together with those coworkers. But as long as they're not like going out after work and doing other stuff and they could potentially bring something back to the circle, then I think it's cool that you're doing some socializing. That's, of course, my doctor hat coming on, because immediately I thought, COVID is out there, girl. What you doing? And you work in a
You didn't think about the money first. I thought about the money first, and you were thinking about them why are they getting together?
About safety and health. Why are they getting together? Anyway, but either way, I would draw up a contract. I'm that person. Like, I feel like you need to be what? Janine, think about it. When we decided to start this podcast, we put this is what we're gonna do on paper.
You're
right? We wrote it down on paper
correct.
because I feel like, and I always tell patients whenever I give them bad news, or even before I give them bad news, if I am concerned about something, I ask them to make a decision before they get the result, right? Mm-hmm. Because when you get the result of something, you're emotional. And so you're thinking not necessarily rationally, you're thinking with emotions. So whenever somebody wins, that person can be overwhelmed. They have people in their ear that's saying, hey, you don't have to share. It's your ticket. You bought the tickets. Like, why do you have to share? Like, you don't have to share with them. And then you're splitting this ticket, and the ticket is in, I don't know, Shamika's name, but then she split it with her 4 other friends. Well, the taxes that's going to come on Shamika. Mm-hmm. So you really do need to put something in writing and say, hey, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to put X, Y, and Z. We're all taxed at this % tax bracket, but it's going to bring us up to this % tax bracket. So we all have to agree to report our winnings separately on our taxes. Or if I report it all, I need to hold back 40% so that I am not stuck with this tax burden. So I think that in order to do that, you got to put stuff like that in writing beforehand. And you got to make it so that if somebody decides to slip off, you have some documentation that you can take and say, no, we put in this money equally, and 1/4 of that money or 1/5 of that money is mine. Mm-hmm. So I would say, put it in writing. And then the other thing that I would say, reading through this, is y'all putting $100 a week into the lottery? That's $400 a month. I'm just sitting here thinking the other stuff you can invest in
for
with $400 a month. I don't know how much lottery tickets cost. I feel like lottery tickets are what, Janine, like $5 a ticket or something like that?
I feel like I don't really play the lottery a lot. I gamble, but I don't play the lottery a lot.
Right. I mean, that's like, you're buying probably 20 tickets, and I understand you're trying to increase your odds, but even with 20 tickets, your odds are super, super low, which I have that stat for Learn Something New later on, but your odds are super low, right? And so you're better off taking that money and saying, hey, we're going to save $400 a month for the next, 12, for the next year or so, and save yourself, $5,000 for the year or what have you.
Right.
And then take that and invest it in something, something else, like start a small business. Your medical assistants, start a home health company. It doesn't take much to buy a franchise and start your own home health company. You have workers right there. There's 5 of you guys. You can actually start it, fund it yourself based on your savings, and then work the jobs yourself because you're already medical assistants. So I would do something like that. That would be, to me, a smarter investment in this money. And it's something that you don't have to, push with urgency, right? This is something you're just doing for fun anyway. pull this money, save it over the course of 2 years, and then you'll have enough for a $10,000 franchise. Because some of those home health companies, that's all it really takes is $10,000. And then you have a blueprint of what to do to start it and start a home health company and then transition and quit your jobs. Just saying.
I think that's very smart, Nicole. I really do. But I also think that, some people like that thrill of the lottery, like, oh, I'm going to win. Like it's that risk factor. So if you would like to be smart and you like the risk factor, Robinhood is a thing, right? It's literally an app where you can invest money on the stock market. It still gives you that same thrill of like, hey, I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen, but it's a little bit more calculated than just playing the lottery, right? So that same money that Nicole said, that $400 a month, that $400 a month invested into an app like Robinhood or even like eTrader, those are the ones that I use. You can invest that and I'm not going to say you're always going to make back more money because obviously there's always that like lightning strike, right? But you are much more likely to make a higher return on your investment long term by investing it rather than playing the lottery. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not knocking the lottery by any stretch of the imagination. It's a business. People win. It's amazing, right? It's like, hoo-hoo, you get to win some money. And who doesn't want free money? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, like Nicole pointed out, there are better ways to invest this money. Create a business, like Nicole said, or invest it in stocks. Don't just keep throwing your money away at the lottery, especially if you think that your coworkers are a little shady.
Right. Or just buy like maybe 2 or 3 tickets and have girl talk. And then with the rest of that money, you can put it to the side and save it or invest it in something. But don't blow through $100 a week worth of lottery tickets. I'm just saying that's just not. It's a good way for girl talk, but you don't have to spend that much is all I'm saying.
I agree. Spend that on some wine or some girl talk, fun, not the lottery. I mean,
oh, girl talk fun, like our virtual vision board party that we're going to talk about.
Yes, we're going to tell you about it, but not right now. Okay, so here's the one that I got. Hi, ladies. I'm writing you from Birmingham, Alabama. I want you all to know that I listen faithfully and never miss an episode. We thank you for that. Ladies, I need some advice. I think that my husband might have a bit of a gambling problem. I must admit, we often go to Wind Creek. Sometimes we win, sometimes we don't, but we always enjoy ourselves. Both my husband and I work for the city, so we make good money. We've never been short of money until recently. Recently, things just seem to be a little bit tight. Suddenly, there are unexplained withdrawals from our joint account, and my husband has, on more than one occasion, paid the bills late for no explained reason. I feel like there has even been cash missing from my purse, but I could be a little paranoid. We haven't been to the casino in a while, but he has started driving to Georgia twice a week to purchase lottery tickets. We don't have the lottery in Alabama. That's why. Which I think it's a little bit much, but I don't really say anything because that's his outlet. I guess my question is, does my husband have a gambling problem or am I being paranoid? Ladies, please give me your advice because I really need it. I hope that you read this. Katera.
The direct approach is always the best approach for me. Doesn't work for everybody, but because it could ruffle feathers. But you always get your answers when you ask directly. So I would say, sit your husband down, talk to your husband, which I would have been done that. Like once I started seeing money come out the account and I didn't know where it was going, I'd have been like, okay, what did you take this money out of the account for? So I would suggest that you ask your husband, hey, what are these large withdrawals from our account? What did you spend this on? Like, are you saving money to buy me a new car or something? Like, should I get excited? Or, what are you doing with this money? So I would ask him what he's doing with the money, right? I would start there. And then whenever the bills and everything are getting paid late, that's a clear sign of a gambling addiction. Especially if you know that he's going to gamble. It is a gambling addiction. You can get in your head that your husband has one. I'm not telling you to leave your husband, but I am telling you that you need to call it out like it is and say, hey, listen, where did this money go? And if he's honest and he tells you he gambled it, great. That's a great first step. But if he lies or he doesn't want to talk about it, then you have to say, hey, do you have a gambling problem? You have to ask him, like, have you been gambling? Just straight up ask. Not a problem. Just ask him if he's been gambling. From there, you may have to take some steps to protect yourself, right? Because you don't want to be sitting in your house in the dark. So that may mean you need to start a separate account and have your money direct deposited into a separate account. And then I would also, as soon as he got paid, send some of his money to my separate account too. And I would start paying my own bills, because you don't want to be in a situation where your house is in foreclosure or your lights get turned off, especially if you have children. Even if you don't have children, you don't want to be uncomfortable. So I would take steps to protect myself. And once I did those things, I would then watch his habits very closely. If he doesn't admit he has a gambling problem, that is a problem in itself. I would then confront him and tell him, I think you have a gambling problem. And if he doesn't admit it, I would ask him if he would go to marriage counseling. And then I would tell this to the marriage counselor so that somebody else can tell him he has a gambling problem and suggest that he gets some further help. Otherwise, your marriage is going to be just in shambles, because you eventually, if you allow yourself to keep going like you are, you will eventually have bills that are paid later and later and later. You will have stuff that gets turned off. You will foreclose on your house. You will have more and more gambling debt over the years that will compile, and that will lead you to leaving your husband and getting a divorce. So you have to be a little bit proactive on this and confront this head on. Right now, it's not a big deal. It sounds like your bills are getting paid for the most part, but that now your bills are starting to get paid a little late. So you need to confront this right now, get counseling right now, and, ask him to be honest, because it's okay to gamble for fun with money that you have sitting to the side, right? Like Janine mentioned Robinhood. I like Robinhood. It's a free app. You can purchase trades. There's no minimum that you have to have. And there's no like huge brokerage fees unless you're, buying like, Bitcoin or making like super huge purchases. But, that is gambling, and stock is sort of kind of gambling. Okay. But you're not going to take your, mortgage money to try to get a fast win. You can't gamble away the bill money. Like, that's not stable. That's not safe. So you need to make sure he understands, hey, if you're gambling away the bill money, that's a problem. That's a problem that you will not stand for. You will not leave yourself out here vulnerable. And if he doesn't admit it, then you need to seek counseling before it's too late.
I think that's great advice, Nicole. So someone once told me, if you think that you have a gambling problem, keep gambling, you'll see. And that's very true. But unfortunately, it's not you that has the gambling problem, right? So hopefully you'll have your husband listen to this episode with you. But let me go back down memory lane in my life for a second. So I used to gamble pretty regularly. When I lived in Philadelphia, there were nothing but casinos, and Atlantic City was, a hop, skip, and a jump away. So I used to gamble pretty regularly, but I will never forget the first time that I went to a casino. I'll never forget it for one reason and one reason only. It was a trashy casino that I don't even think is there anymore, called the Sands Casino. And when I was there, I literally watched a grown man. He probably was about in his mid-40s, hysterically crying as he was being escorted out of the casino. And I will never forget what he said. He said, "You try explaining to your wife that the Sands Casino owns both our house and our boat." And that was the first and only lesson that I needed about not spending too much money gambling. This poor man had gambled away the deed to his home and his boat. So the Sands Casino now literally owned everything that he had. So it happens, right? Like gambling is addictive, which is why it's, casinos make millions and millions of dollars every year. I understand. We all want that hope and that dream that we're going to just come into some money and it's going to be free to us. But it's hard. Like, everyone can't handle that. So I'm with Nicole. Have a conversation with your husband and ask him, has he been gambling, right? But also, I think that you have to be aware of the fact that he might not easily come up with the answer for himself, because if he knew that he had a gambling problem, we would like to think that he would ask for help, right? But it doesn't always happen like that. In fact, when you do come to the conclusion, or he does come to the conclusion, he might be a little combative, because it's hard to admit when you have a problem. But I would tell you, try to do things that do not focus on gambling, right? Try not to encourage or support his gambling in any way. If you think he has a problem, if you genuinely think that your husband has a problem, Don't encourage the going to buy lottery tickets. Don't encourage the going to the casino. I know that you all said that you go to the casino regularly, but maybe you all don't go to the casino anymore, right? It's a pandemic outside. That's an excuse in and of itself for you not to go to the casino. But also, there is help, right? There really is help. I remember when I would go to the casino regularly, there would be signs at the cage. There would be signs on each one of the machines. There's signs at the table, and they all say, gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And now, not only can you call 1-800-GAMBLER, but you can also text them. And they can give you some sort of support or tools to help you navigate this with your husband. Because realistically, gambling problem is just like any other problem. Like, it's going to take some time for the person to realize that they have a problem. And then once they realize that they have a problem, then they have to work the steps to get through the problem. So don't do it on your own. As Nicole said, maybe you go to marriage counseling, but also maybe you call the people who their job is to work through these gambling issues with you. So call or text 1-800-4-GAMBLER. And then, maybe, hopefully maybe you are just being paranoid. Maybe your husband doesn't have a gambling problem. But if he actually does, those are some things that you can do to help him get through the situation.
I'll say this, if he doesn't have a gambling problem, he's moving big mass chunks of money out of your account. Who else is he supporting? Where is he at night? There has to be some type of explanation for the money. Okay. And where is the money? I was going to say, where's the money residing? But where is the money going? Seriously. Like, if he doesn't have a gambling problem, like, you may have a bigger problem on your hands. And that may be that your husband may be cheating on you. And I'm not saying that that's the case, but either there's a gambling problem or he's giving money to somebody or for something that you don't know about. And that's a problem in itself.
I agree. I think that you need to investigate the money situation regardless. I'm with Nicole 100%. Wherever the money is going, you need to know where that money is going, because guess what? You all are married. And at the end of the day, if anything, it falls on him, it also falls on you. So you need to know financially, legally, all of that, where that money is going. That is number one. Nicole is absolutely right. So maybe we hope that it might just be a little gambling problem that we can work through. But if it's not, still investigate, girl. Please. We don't want to be out here with blinders on. That's not what we're trying to do. We want to make sure that we know what's happening. Like, take control of your situation, because we don't know, and we don't like to be in the dark. Right, Nicole?
Right. No, we're not in the dark. Eyes wide open this year.
Amen. Okay, Nicole, what did you learn new this week?
So I learned that the first recorded signs of the lottery took place in China between 205 and 187 BC. Can you believe that?
Wow.
And they use Keno slips. They were used, they sort of look like bingo sheets, except for it wasn't like a sophisticated bingo system. There were like pictures that were drawn, and you had to select the winning picture, if you will. And then whoever selected that winning picture won. It is thought that this form of the lottery helped to fund major government projects like the Great Wall of China, which I thought was super interesting. I also found out, as we were researching for this episode, that the chance of winning all 6 numbers on a lottery ticket are about 1 in 13,983,816. So that's why I was telling this podcast listener, our friend of the pod, that the chances of winning are so little versus investing that money in something else or investing it in yourself. Janine, what did you learn new this week?
Okay, so there were a couple of things that I learned new, right? And one of them was actually what you said, but those statistics are really interesting, and you can see them like broken down by number. And I think I'm going to post that because that's interesting. Like, when I saw it, I was like, what, why waste even $1 on this? Like, I'm with you. But here are some other things that I learned new. So I found this in a Forbes article from years ago, but it's still relevant. So the Forbes article is called 6 Ways to Prevent Ruining Your Life If You Win the Lottery. So here are the 6 ways. 1, remain anonymous. I thought you can't remain anonymous. They have to post you, whatever. But you can claim under an estate so that you don't have to give your name. So remain anonymous. Number 2, don't make any rash decisions. Number 3, don't become a statistic. Number 4, take a vacation. clear your head a little so you can know what you should do. Give yourself some time. Number 5, be careful not to harm your family or charities with the size of your gift. Oftentimes, family and charities can be put in an awkward situation because you give them such a sizable gift, and then they can get in trouble with Uncle Sam and other things. So make sure that when you are handing out money to charities in your family, that you're careful. And then number 6 is have fun, but as Nicole always says, have a plan. So those are the things that I learned new. And then the last thing is, I didn't know this. I also learned that the Powerball normally resets to $40 million minimum, right? So after someone wins, the minimum for the Powerball is $40 million. But due to the pandemic, the Powerball officials were forced to cut the minimum jackpot in half. So now the minimum is $20 million. And that actually happened back in April. So I'm a little late learning that. The pandemic is really affecting everyone, including the lottery, Nicole.
So the states can keep more of that money. They're not dumb.
Okay, Nicole. So before we give the motivational moment, we have an announcement. As we promised, we're going to have a vision board party. And no, we didn't forget about you all. We promised and we are delivering. So Nicole, you want to give the details?
Yes. So we're going to have a vision board party. It's called the Oh, That's Deep Galentine's Day Vision Board Party, which is actually not on Galentine's Day. It's the day before. So it's Friday, February 12th, and we are going to have some grown and sexy conversations. So we're going to have this after you put your kids to bed. It's going to be at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. Get a glass of wine, and hopefully you will purchase this glass of wine. After you register, we will send you a link to our Oh, That's Deep wine page so you can select the wine of your choosing and have it ready for the vision board party. Janine, what else can they get?
So we also are going to give out a Canva code so that you can do your vision board electronically if you don't want to do it the old school way with poster and magazines. So we will give you a Canva code. Like we mentioned before, Nicole's best friend Christina told us that you can actually get it printed. So you don't just have to look at it on your computer screen. You can actually print it and get it sent to your house. And then also, Nicole and I are going to come up with some recipes. If you would like to fix some Galentine's Day treats with us, we're going to come up with some recipes and we will share them in advance so that you can prepare for Galentine's Day.
So we will post the links on our social media platforms so that you can register. After you register, you'll get the links to purchase your wine as well as to subscribe to Canva. Subscribing to Canva from us will give you a discount of 20%. But you don't have to if you don't want to. You can always do it old school on like one of those like paper fold out, the school fold, trifold boards. You can do it on one of those if you want to, or you can do it digitally and then you can get it printed via Canva and it'll be delivered to your house in 3 to 5 business days. Just a choice. But we do hope that you at least do one of the two options, either digitally or on paper, the vision board with us, as well as partake in conversations over wine.
And the wine, so Nicole, I want you to go a little bit deeper into the wine, right? So you can get the wine from our page and there is a charitable cause. So when you purchase the wine from our page, it's not just, hey, you're buying wine for Oh, That's Deep Galentine's Day Vision Board Party. You're actually giving back to a very important organization. Nicole, who will they be giving to?
They're going to be giving to the Black Women's Health Initiative. So this is the only organization that specifically promotes health and wellness and funds different wellness exams for Black women specifically. So a portion of the proceeds will go directly to that organization with every bottle of wine purchased. So please, even if you have wine stock, go ahead and buy from us so that you can give back.
Amen. I think that makes a great transition into our motivational moment.
Well, our motivational moment for the week is from Peter Lynch of the Peter Lynch Foundation. And it reads, although it is easy to forget sometimes, a share is not a lottery ticket. It's part ownership of a business. Let that sink in for just a second. Make sure to find yourself a business to invest in, whether it's your own business or someone else's. This year, let's make smarter, more well thought out choices and take less random gambles. The risk you should take should always be on yourself. Until we meet again,
pray, work, slay,
and show off your melanated excellence.
Bye.
Oh, That's Deep, Black Women Conversations is produced by Nicole Lee Plenty and Janine Brunson Johnson. Executive producer, Ken Johnson. Get the Oh, That's Deep Black Women Conversation podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, or where you get your podcasts. Please subscribe and rate us. You can follow Oh, That's Deep Black Women Conversations on IG at Oh, That's Deep BWC. Oh, That's Deep Black Women Conversations is a Mean Old Lion media production.